Hi there, this is Ed Herzog, and today I want to show you a WordPress plugin for Elementor called Designer Powerup. Now, unlike many of the other plugins for Elementor, which often mostly just give you additional widgets that you can use to design your pages, Designer Powerup is a bit different. The purpose of Designer Powerup is to improve your workflow in Elementor and to make it easier and quicker for you to design your pages. So let me switch over to my camera and I will take you through a review of everything the Designer Powerup can do. So the first feature from Designer Powerup that I want to show you is what they call the Quick Spacer. This is actually my favorite of their features and one that I can see myself using quite a bit. So I'm going to head over here to my Elementor trial page where I demonstrate various tools, and I've just got an Elementor template loaded up. And you can see as I hover over sections, as I hover over columns, as I hover over individual widgets, you'll see gray bars, you'll see also blue bars, depending on where you put the cursor. The gray bars are for padding, the blue bars are for margins. And you can just do this to change the margin or the padding between items. You can also, they've got some neat tools here, neat features. So if I click there and hold down the Shift key and drag, you can see it will set the same, in this case, the same padding on all sides. Or what I can do is on a Windows computer, I can hold down the Alt key and you'll see it will do the opposite side. So I come up here and it'll do top and bottom. And you can do the same thing on the Mac using what I believe is the Option key. So this for me, I love this. This for me just adds a lot of value. You don't have to go into each individual item and try to figure out what padding you want and fool around with it. I mean, you can just drag and drop it right here and see immediately how it looks. This feature I absolutely love. So that is the first feature from Designer Powerup. Now the next feature from Designer Powerup that I want to show you is what they call the value nudge. It says it's a nifty feature that lets you jump input values by 10 to bring speed and accuracy to the process. Works with any and all number fields. Now it doesn't actually always increase it by 10. It actually depends on what the individual element is. So let's come over here and I've got this heading. It's a little small. Maybe I want to make that bigger. So it's got a font size of 36. If I put my cursor there, I hold down my Shift key, then I use the arrow keys on my computer keyboard. I don't use these arrow keys here that are on the Elementor thing. And I click and it automatically went from 36 to 46. And I click again and it goes to 56. And I click again and now it's 66. And I can go back down using the down arrow key and make it smaller, make it bigger. So it's a very easy way to change numbers on Elementor using your keyboard on your computer. Now again, it's not always by a factor of 10. Right here I've got this line height. It's set at a line height of 1. So let's come over here and we want to change that. It's really cramped. And I come down here and I'll do the same thing. Now here it's going to jump by a factor of 1. So it just went from a line height of 1 to a line height of 2, which looks a lot better. Now, you can keep making it there. It's 3, 4, 5, or you can come back down. So it's a way to quickly change number values within Elementor. Now, the next feature from Designer Powerup that I want to show you is a layout grid. It says bring clarity, order, and precision to your layout with responsive grids and design like a pro. This is a really powerful feature, particularly if you're a professional designer, because it allows you to see exactly where your elements are on the page and if they line up the way you want them to. And then of course you can adjust where they are so they do fit the sort of grid that you want them to fit on. And you can change this based on desktop, tablet, and then mobile. So I'm going to come over here and I will click down here on the gear icon under Settings, then go to Style, and turn the grid on. You can see right there it turns on. Obviously this doesn't show up on the actual page. It's just a way for you to see, to visualize where your elements are and whether or not they are where you want them to be. Then you can change things like the max width. Now this is already at the max width, but I can make it smaller. I can change the offset. I can change the number of columns. If I want fewer columns or I want more columns, do that. I can change the gutter, so I can change the distance between the columns, and I can change the color of the grid. I can make it a different color if I want to do that. You can see this also as you go to the different responsive options. You can see you've got it there as well. So again, this is a really powerful feature, particularly for professional designers, because if you're designing a professional website, you really want to make sure that things are as exact as they can be. So that was feature number 3 from Designer Powerup. So moving along, the next feature that I'm going to show you is the column order feature. It says fine-tune the column order on responsive devices as per your needs to create an optimal layout. So let's come down here and take a look here at this page. You see right here you've got 2 columns side by side. So one here, one there. As we go into the mobile view, what you see is that Elementor decided to put the photo on top, the photo is on the right hand side, and then this text right here, the heading, and the text, which is on the left hand side, below it. You don't have control over that. Elementor decided to make it that order. But what if you wanted this here to be on top, if you wanted the headline, this column here, the headline, and the text block on top, and the photo below it? Well, with Designer Powerup, you can change the order. So you click over here, and right under the column layout, you've got Designer Powerup column order. So you put a 2 there, and then come here to this column and put a 1 here, and boom, it just changed the order of the columns. Now you can do this differently. You can set the column order differently. You can do it differently for tablet. Now here it's not really necessary because it's not really going top to bottom. It's still going side to side. And of course you could also change on desktop. But it is nice. You can, you do have that option. It's normally, this feature I think is most valuable on mobile where things tend to stack on top. So you can change the stacking the way you want, but you may have, for some reason, want to change it also, display it differently on tablet, differently on desktop, and you can set different column orders on each of those using Designer Powerup. So really, I think it's a really nice feature they have here. So next up is the Blob Generator. So it says, generate random organic blob shapes from within Elementor with SVG output that does not affect site speed. No more hassle of external tools, exporting and importing images, or custom code. So this is the only feature from Designer Powerup. This is an actual widget. So let me just scroll down here and we'll drop one in here. Type in blob. And drop it in here. You can do things like change the color, however you want it to look. Change the size, you can make it bigger, make it smaller, change the complexity, change the contrast. Again, I don't know exactly what those 2 do, but it will change kind of the output you get. And then you can click here on Generate Blob, and you'll see it'll, give you different options. Make that a little more complex. Give it more contrast. You can keep clicking on this until you get one that you like, and then you just stop there. You can also change the size for tablet. Again, make it bigger, make it smaller, and do the same for mobile. So it's kind of a neat little feature you can use to break up things on your page so that you can get people's attention on the things you want. If you've got everything kind of jammed together, it's hard to draw attention to things. But this is kind of a neat little feature, a widget you can use to put a shape on your page, an interesting shape that will break things up on your page. So next up are unique shape dividers. It says a collection of modern trendy shape dividers to bring a breath of fresh air to your designs. And obviously Elementor already has shape dividers included, but as you can see, as this is moving here in the background, they've got some pretty interesting and unique ones here as part of Designer Powerup. So I'm going to come over here. Now here we've got just a basic arrow that comes from Elementor. Obviously we go here to section, style, and then to shape divider. And if we click on type, these ones down here at the bottom, I believe there are 25 different shape dividers you get with Designer Powerup. The ones that say DP are obviously from Designer Powerup. I'm not going to show you all these because there are obviously a lot of them, but that is division. This is mount. This is fancy waves. This is semicircle. So you get an idea. There's some pretty interesting and unique shapes they've got here that you can use, again, to kind of break up your design and draw attention to things. Obviously, you've got the standard options. You can change the color. You can change the width. You can change the height. So you've got all those that you would normally have already in Elementor. And obviously you can do this on the top too, not just on the bottom. If you want to go up here to the top and put a divider on the top, come up here, and there's arrowhead. This is fan opacity. This is lines. So again, some pretty unique and interesting shape dividers that you're pretty unlikely to find elsewhere. I think those are pretty nice and can definitely make your designs, make your website pages look more professional, look more interesting, and really draw attention to things. So this is again, I think this is a really nice feature they have here. So now let's take a look at element transformations. It says move, rotate, skew, scale, or give 3D perspective to any page element and make it pop. So let's come over here and let's take a look at this photo. Now, normally with Elementor, you've got these 4 options. You've got content, style, and advanced, but now you see you've got this other option called power ups. So click on that and we're going to come down to transform. Click on that. Now we've got some options here. We've got 3D perspective, we've got move, rotate, scale, and skew, but we probably want to do this in hover. So let's come over here, let's just try moving. So go to this, we'll do a horizontal move of 100 pixels. Go ahead and preview the changes. What happens then when I hover over that? You see it moves. It moves to the right by 100 pixels. Of course, we can do other things here. You've got horizontal, you've got vertical. You can rotate it, so you can rotate it on the horizontal axis, the vertical axis, or the z-axis. You can scale things, make them bigger, make them perhaps smaller. You can also skew, do a horizontal or a vertical skew. So you've got some options there. Actually, you can even preview it here. So you've got some options for making things pop when people hover over your items on your Elementor page. So again, it's a pretty neat feature that gives some motion, some life to your page. So it's not just static. This image here, it's nice, it's static. This image here, somebody scrolls over it and it moves, which is again, it draws attention to things on your web page. Now the next feature is transition animations. It says animate element states to bring much needed motion to the pages. Now this works in conjunction with these other features here: multicolor gradient, effects, multi-layer shadow, and transform. So I already got this transformation set up here. When I hover over this, it moves over to the right. But let's go ahead and apply a transition. So first of all, we can set a duration for this movement. So I'm going to put a really big duration of 5 seconds so you can really see how that really slowed it down? So it makes the actual transition be a full 5 seconds. You can also put a delay. Let's put a 2-second delay, and I'm going to come back over here and hover, and boom. You see that it didn't start up right away. It waited those 2 seconds and then it started to move to the right. And you can also change the timing function. It's got ease, linear, ease in, ease out, and ease in and out. So you've got these transitions here, in case you want these other things, the gradient, effects, shadows, transformations, to again be delayed. If you want to set the duration for how long these will last. That is an option you've got here, one of the features with Designer Powerup. So now let's take a look at layered shadows. It says emulate realistic light dropping shadows by adding multiple layers and adjusting them swiftly from the panel UI. So let's take a look here at this logo. I'm going to click on that, come over here to Power Ups, and come down here to multi-layer shadow. And what I can do here is I can add as many shadows as I want. Normally in Elementor you can only add one, but with Designer Powerup you can add multiple shadows, and you can add them either under the normal state or under the hover state. So I'm just going to play around with this and see what we can get here. So let me click there and click on a color. Just do that. You can see it now. It already showed up down below there. It may not show up very well. Let me give it a bigger spread so you can see it better. Now you can see it right there. And then I can just keep adding items and add additional shadows. So let's give this one a different color. Give this one a blue. And give it a bigger spread. And there you can see the blue on top of the green. And you've got a lot of different options here. You can change the horizontal on this. You can change the vertical on it. You can change the blur. You can change, again, I've already shown you the spread, and then you've got the color changing, and you can change the position in or out. So you can do a lot of different things here, make some nice looking shadows on all your different elements within Elementor. And again, you could do this for either the normal state or the hover state, however you want. And you can keep adding. I just did two real simple ones there just to give you an idea of what you can do with this, but you can keep adding as many shadows as you want. There's not a limit. I don't think you want to do 100 of these on a single item, but if you want to have, for some reason, 3 shadows, 4 shadows, however you want to do it. And then you can also combine it, as I mentioned, with the transition, where you can delay when those show up and delay the duration, that sort of thing as well. So that is the multi-layer shadow. So the next feature in Designer Powerup are advanced gradients. It says create colorful pages with the ability to add more than 2 colors to the gradient mix. Additionally, you can now apply these gradients to child elements. So, normally with gradients you get 2 colors. That would be the basic option in Elementor for your backgrounds. But now you can add more than 2 colors. So you can make some really fancy gradients. So again, we come here to the Power Ups tab. I'm on the section because that's where I'm going to add it here. And we will add an item. And I've already got that color there selected. Let's give it a location. And then we're going to need another item so it'll show up. Get a different color. And change the location there. Now I'm going to start messing around here with the angle. That's linear. We can also make it radial. And we can just keep adding more colors here. Add another item. Now I'm going to make this one, what color? We'll go with a little grayish there. And give that location right there. So, you can see that, and again, I'm just playing around with this. I'm not trying to make anything that looks nice, anything that looks pretty. I'm just playing around to give you an idea of what it looks like. Again, you can see you've got the 3 different colors here. You can obviously play around with the colors, make it radial or linear. You can change the position there on this here for the radial. For the lineal, you can change the angle. And then, you can change the location of these as well. So again, a really nice feature here that can, give you some nice gradients to add to your sections or maybe even to your columns, however you want to use this particular feature. And again, I did 3. You can keep adding more colors. You can keep clicking on this add item and add additional colors to your gradient mix here, however you want to make it appear on your website. So last but not least, we have filter effects. It says apply complex graphical effects to any widget or element. Whether it's bringing that nostalgia feel with grayscale or blurring the element, you got it all. So let's come over here. This isn't something, you probably want to use more with photos, but you can use it with other elements. But let's take a look here. Again, we edit the image, we come over here to Power Ups, and we come to Effects. Now, first of all, we can change the opacity of the element. You can see, make it darker or lighter. And of course, we can do this in hover as well. So it changes as you hover over it. Let's come back over here to normal. And then you've got several CSS filters. So you've got blur. You can make the image blur. Actually, let me turn the opacity back up so that shows up better. You can change the brightness. Make it brighter, make it darker. You can change the contrast. You can change the saturation. Now this one does only work with photos. The other ones work on all elements. That one didn't show up very well because the other settings I put here. You might be able to see it a little more there. The color is saturating there at the very end. And then finally we have hue. So you can change the hue as well. Again, I've made that pretty dark, so it's hard to see some of that. You can see the hue changing there. So those are the filter effects that you can do with Designer Powerup. So those are the 11 features that you have with Designer Powerup. Of course, now you're probably wondering, how much does this cost? So that's what I'm going to show you next, is the pricing for Designer Powerup. Now here I am on the pricing page, and you've got three different options. You've got personal, plus, and agency. You also have an annual option and a lifetime option. So for personal use, it's $19 per year on one site. That's with the annual license. With Plus, you get $39 per year, and you can use it on up to 10 sites. Now, on an agency, it says $69 per year, and you can use it on 100 sites. And then if you look at the lifetime prices, personal, $59 for a one-time lifetime purchase. Plus is $119 for a lifetime purchase, and agency is $209 for a lifetime purchase. And you get all the features I showed you. It says all power-ups, unlimited local host and staging sites, obviously help documentation, customer support. Also comes with a 100% no-risk money-back guarantee. If you don't like our plugin over the next 14 days, we'll happily refund 100% of your money, no questions asked. So that is Designer Powerup. I think there are a lot of really interesting and unique elements here, things that other Elementor plugins don't have. I think it's going to be hard to find some of these elsewhere. And I wouldn't personally use all of them, but there are some that I would absolutely use, and that for me would definitely make designing my website easier. And if you design websites for other people, I think this is really a great deal, because again, it's really going to speed up your design process and also allow you to add some different effects and other features that you're not going to be able to find elsewhere. And you can get this for a pretty reasonable price. Again, plus lifetime for 10 sites, $119, or agency up to 100 sites, $209 for a lifetime license. That strikes me as a really good deal. I mean, it's basically, here for the agency, it's $2 per website. If you can't add $2 of value to your clients for, per client, I think you can with this, right? I think that there is enough value here that, you can save yourself time and add value to your client sites. Of course, you can also use this, if you're like me and a solopreneur, and use it just for yourself. They obviously have a great option here. Again, you can do annual, but these lifetime values, to me, these lifetime prices strike me as a pretty good deal, as a pretty good bargain. So that is my review and demo of Designer Powerup. So if you have any questions or comments, please let me know. I'm always willing to help you as best as I can. Also, make sure to subscribe to my channel. I've got a lot more videos coming out on Elementor and on other tools to help you build and grow your online business. Also, make sure to hit that notification button. That way you'll know when I release a new video. And finally, I will put my affiliate link in the description below. If you do choose to buy Designer Powerup, I do appreciate if you buy via my affiliate link. That gives me a little bit of money. It does help me to continue to create 100% free content, which is my goal. So that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it added value to you, and I hope to see you in the next video. Bye.